Hi, I'm back. It's she. How are you, my loves? I hope you're doing well. It's been rough. I know it's been really, really trying. So, I put out a video yesterday, or a podcast as well on Spotify, as well as Apple iTunes. You can find that I put out a meditation to help you to relax, calm, clear out some of that stale negativity of energy that's floating around us everywhere. So today is a number 6 day. It's for perseverance. And I really don't want to fool around with these energies because we are in the same place, guys. I know you've been feeling it. I've been feeling it. It's been draining. Some days I don't want to get up or do anything. Other days I feel like I have, so much energy I could run a marathon. But that's because of those planets that I've been telling you about. Uranus is a change maker. It's an awakener. That planet is hovering right near the earth right now, along with Father Saturn. Uranus is considered the sun, although it is the god of the sky. Uranus is one of the biggest planets. It is the biggest planet that we actually can see from our Earth's atmosphere. But it's sitting there with Neptune, Mars, and Saturn. They're conjuncting all in around each other. And it's just going to go on, especially with Mars, till the end of the year. And so Neptune is here through the end of August. And so to get through this lion, this strength of Leo, which we're in the sign of Leo, which come September, we're going to start to shift into another planet, which is going to also bring a whole nother dynamic coming in September. But we'll talk about September when we get there. But talking about that Saturn, I've been telling you guys about Saturn for some time now. Father planet, father of time, rules, change, policies, power. All of that is Saturn. But in conjunction with Uranus, which is also an Aquarius, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and they kind of are liberating. They don't want restrictions. They are revolutionary in their thinking. And so when you put that with the powerful Saturn, who is more disciplined and structured, it kind of calls for a little tug of war there. So you have the powers that be. We talking about our leadership, who governs the energy of our earth. They are struggling for power, and we want to be more, liberated. We want to be free, and it's like we just keep getting tied down and hung up, strung up between this very emotional energy, all these emotions that are piling up and actually going high. And whatever's happening in the United States, it affects whatever happens around the globe. So I hope in your area of this planet, this beautiful planet, your area of this earth, that you are not getting what we call the aftershocks of the hurricane. I've been fooling with these cards for a minute here, even before I turned on the video. I actually did another reading for someone else, but it wasn't with our powerful cards. Remember, we're in the mystical shaman, and I tried to see if we could pull out another card from another deck. I just got a new deck. I wanted to see if we could bring those energies in, but it's saying no. So this is where we are, and we are going to go with that. So our first card is the number 5, the beloved. And when we're talking about fives, guys, we already know it's changes. We're still in this fluid movement of changes. And with Uranus being the changer, the change maker, meaning that everything that is happening around us is changing, and it's changing very rapid, very fluid. And you want to know, how do I shift? How am I able, with so many things happening all at once? We had floods around the world. I saw a horrible flood over in Asia, where it's like muddy water. Everything is underwater. We also have fires burning in the west coast of California, and it just won't stop. It's completely a washout and a burning. So we've been talking about for months now about these emotions. And so when you're talking about the element of water along with that fire, you're talking about boiling temperatures. And so when we're talking about change, and this specific change is saying, how do we survive all this fluctuation that's moving so rapidly that our heads are spinning? How do we, it's like COVID is going to be, there's a vaccine in Russia. Oh, but we can't use it. They have a vaccine in China. Oh, but we can't use it. So it's like a race to, the change, to the big change. Why is it moving so fast? Why are we, the people who, the humans and the animals and the plants that populate this Mother Earth, we are wrapped up in these energies of greed. And so the vaccine has to come from the right place, the right company, at the right time, because this is all about money. More people who are in the 3%ers, not even 3%, 2%, off of this crisis we've been living through now since the beginning of the year. It really happened, like I said, I believe it happened sometime around October, November 2019. But it came into view in May. It really was coming, it was slowly building, and then it burst in May. And May is a 5-month. So that meant a huge change. Change is happening always, constantly. But when this number 5 comes into play, it exemplifies it. It magnifies the changes. So the changes could have been small or temporary, or for some people. Well, in this energy we've been in, these changes have affected the entire universe and beyond. So when I say the universe, because we don't know what's out there on the other side, but I'm including the universe because the planets are a part of the universe outside of our earthly atmosphere, and the earth sits within that universe, and the universe is a part of the creator, the beloved. The beloved is a recognized spirit. It's a universal entity or source or spirit, God. And when we say divine beloved, it is something that is universal. In some religions, it depends on your culture, your upbringing, your belief system. God is the creator, the maker, or it depends on, again, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, the creator of the universe. It appears in a form of so beloved, but the form is spirit. It is, and it appears in our soul, and it shows more innocently or more lovingly through children, the innocence of children. When we are relating or communicating intimacy with our children or with the small ones in our lives, with our parents, our friends, those people that we love, we experience this warm feeling. We receive it from everyone around us. And so that is like the universal power of divine nature. So if we look at it on a bigger scale, and the reason why I'm taking it, because we've had this beautiful card before, this beloved, you see the hands, you see the heart within the heart. And it's cyclical because it is universal. And so right now, more than ever, you really need to accept the invitation to follow the path of love, because that's the only way through all of this, these emotions, this nightmare. So many people I see so many memes and so many jokes about the horror of 2020, and it just doesn't stop. Every time you turn on the news, you don't even have to turn on the news, you just call a friend. They say to you, did you see what happened? Did you hear what happened? This happened, that happened. And it's constantly happening. And if it's not this, is that. COVID is still, every time I look around, I just turn my cell phone on and the news alert comes up, there's more cases of COVID. So we're in a human experience. And this human experience is experiencing a violent, a horrific change in our energy right now. So it's more important than ever that you are rooted and you are being nurtured. And if you're not, then you are angry. You're crying. You're depressed. You are not feeling loved. And so when you understand that you're on the path of love, and not just romantic love, but just the kind of love that fills your heart, and the kind of love when your heart is full of love, you're also projecting that love. You're mirroring it back to your entire environment. So in order to get through these changes, you have to love yourself first. So there, I heard a story last week about a cat. So this man had a cat, right? And you see a lot of guys with cats because cats are feminine energy. And so a lot of women love cats too. But I think I see more women with dogs, and I'm meeting more men who have cats for whatever reason. Either they was in a relationship, they were left with a cat. So, and I told you the story about the jaguar cat. So this story is there was this cat, and this cat loved her owner, and she adored him. She followed him whenever he was home, and when he wasn't home, she longed for him. She missed him. And so she said a little prayer, because there's magic, especially when there's prayer everywhere. There's magic. And so in this magic, she asked to be a woman so she could have a human relationship with her owner, with her master, because she loved him so much, and she wanted to show him more than her purrs and her rubs against him. So she was granted their wish. So there she was, enjoying the intimacy with her beloved, her overwhelming, magical, mystical beloved. And it was everything and more that she could wish for. And so Athena, as the myth goes, Athena, this is a Greek mythology story. Athena, our beloved Athena, decided, okay, I gave you what you wanted. Now let me test you to see how much you really do love him. So she threw a little mouse across the floor. And so Mrs. Cat looked down and she saw that mouse. She jumped out of bed in horror. Her master is watching this beautiful woman that just came into his life eat a mouse. And guess what happened? Poof, she was back to being a cat. And the nature of that story with the beloved is we are by nature who we are. We are what we are. And so when you try to love other than in the way of who you are, when you try to fake or pretend that you are something else so that you can have or be with someone or have what you want, we make these deals. If I could only have this, if I could do this or I could do that, then I would be happy and everybody around me be happy. But if it's not in the beloved's will, because we're the lovers, right? God is the beloved. If it's not in the beloved's destiny for us, if it's not in our destiny's path, then it's going to be temporary because our true nature will appear. And that was the beloved. Our next card, I'm dropping. I'm trying to not make so much noise because this mic that I have is very, it picks up everything, but I wanted also to be able to have a quality sounding video. So the journey is 11. And the journey, look at that beautiful bird sitting on top of his head and his wings in the back of on his back. Don't we all wish we had some wings? Sometimes with all this stuff kicking off, just want to fly away, fly high in the sky. And just like that beautiful owl, and observe, just sit in the highest tree and just observe all the drama that's happening on the ground. Oh, that sounds like a beautiful view. The journey is an invitation, guys, to do exactly that, to kind of step outside of the boundaries of your life in the way that you know it, because the journey that we're on right now, it is going to be unfamiliar. For example, some of us are in job crisis. That means we have to seek and search another way to earn a living, another way to be in existence or in experience with how we are going to earn a living. So everything is shifting. Everything is changing. Some of us are going through divorce. And that means the way you've been living, the person you've been living with, all of that is shifting now. And so as you go out on your new path or your new journey, then changes is evident. And this card comes down to an 11. And 11 is a spiritual number. It's one of the power numbers to the spirit. And so when you see this card, that is telling us that everything in this picture, everything in this journey is divine. It is marked our roads and our path and the map, the territory, the pilgrimage that we need to go on is actually a journey to spirit, and at this time we are experiencing a lot of hermit time, a lot of alone time. And so over the last 6 months, we're going 8 months into the year now, basically with the beloved, we've been on this permanent journey, this journey that is calling us to be in one with nature, in one with God, in one with spirit constantly. And so that's where the meditation is more vital than ever. And I have made a another video as well as a podcast where you can step into that meditation easily before you know it. And it's a 10-minute meditation sequence. It has breathing for you, teaching you some breathing. And then maybe you can go beyond that on your own in your meditation practice. Because without the meditation, without the alone time, without that seeking deeply into your spirit and your soul, it's going to be even harder to be in flow with all the changes that we have to experience right now. It is out of our control, guys. We have no control over this. And so when the journey is happening, go into spirit, go inside, go to the beloved as the lover, and allow the beloved to take care of you, especially the journey. Our next card is the Time Master. Oh, I love the Time Master. Wow, we haven't had this Time Master in a long time. Oh my goodness, didn't I just say something in the beginning of this reading about Father Time and the planet of Saturn? Wow, and it's a number 4. And when I was describing to you the planet of Saturn, which Saturn rules Capricorn, the goat, that goats are steady and patient. And they don't feel like this journey. They're used to being steady and patient on the climb up the side of the mountain, just like the goat. So Father Time is here to say he has time as we go through these other planets, because Saturn is going to be here along with a couple of these other planets through the end of 2020 before we start to see some kind of breath of relief. So until then, Saturn is saying to us, be patient, because when all of this is birth, all of these pains that we're going through right now, I think I described one of our readings about having the cave and the sweat lodge, and the sweat lodge is like the womb of the earth. And so if the earth is birthing a new planet, so to say, the earth is coming into a new existence and being here within the universe, it takes time. When a baby is being born, whether it's in an animal or plant or a human, it has a cycle, it has a time. You know, some animals take shorter periods of time to carry, and then those that take a shorter period of time, they usually drop in a load, like a litter of more than one. Then there's those animals like humans that majority of the time there's only one birth that is actually coming through. Sometimes there's triplets, there's 2 babies, 3 babies, but majority of the time there's one baby, and it takes 9 months for it to come through. And the mother's body goes through that period of time. She's changing. Her body is changing. You can literally see the changes. She can feel them, but we can also see, and some people say, oh my God, pregnant women are extremely beautiful. They're glowing because their body is changing. And if she's caring for her body during that time of incubation of the baby, the better she gets through that pregnancy. If she cannot maintain her health, and some of it is controllable and sometimes it's not controllable, it becomes painful. And they say she had a terrible pregnancy. She had a hard pregnancy. I was one of those women who had two horrible pregnancies. And the first one was frightening. They said I had a still baby. Thank God when he came out, he had breath. But my first 4 months of his pregnancy, I had to go on bed rest for the entire pregnancy. And so that whole journey was very painful. As well as when my daughter was born, that journey as well, it was totally opposite. It was totally different. I wasn't on bed rest, but I swelled up like a helium balloon. And so time, it's like a construction of the human mind through which our life holds its events. So when we are in the flow of life, it's not going to go straight. It's not going to be like just a straight line. When you draw a line on a piece of paper, it goes straight. Sometimes it's going to move in patterns. Sometimes life is going to have fractals. Fractals are everywhere. So when we, like in this picture that I have here, it has fractals. The fractals are in the picture. And so the fractals can move. They move in time and they go in different places around the human body. And so that's how our universe moves around us, how the plants around us, they all move in time, but they move in, I want to say they turn, they twist. Some move cyclical like a wheel, while others do go straight in a line up or down. And so that's our energy. That's the vibration of our energy. So as we are turning the wheel of our life, for example, right now, everything is made on time. We have the clock that has a 24-hour time schedule that we as humans follow. The time master actually right now, though, is taking an all-powerful shift in what appears to be for us. And I love the depiction of this card. He is fierce. And that is like Saturn. So if you see in his cloak here, it's like the symbol of infinity, the symbol of 8, which means time is constantly moving. Time is never ending. But for us, with everything that's going on, it's like, are we running out of time? On your day-to-day life, am I running out of time for my responsibilities? With everything that's happening, COVID is not, my income isn't what it used to be. My lifestyle isn't what it used to be. How much time do I have to live in this moment, in this pain, in this challenge in my life? When is it going to end? Do I have time? Am I going to run out of time and die? So again, in order to stay in the flow of this time, you have to be compassionate with yourself. You have to have compassion for those around you, because when you can walk this journey with Father Time, with the beloved, if you can see that at the end of all of this, because it has to happen, at the end of all of this, we won't run out of time. It's that the earth is shifting in time, in space, and so it's actually creating a reset. And so when the button reset on the clock, we're going to have a universe, a world where coming through that pain. And without this pain, we won't have what's to come. And so this is where the energy of the vision quest that will help you see the future. You see how she's stretching to her dance in the front of the moon, the golden light of, I'm sorry, not the moon, the sun, the golden light of the sun. It's a number 6. Persevere. We are going to continue on this journey, but as we press forward, as we move forward through all the gunk, all the disgust, all the dirty, the trash, just the pain of this moment, the bad odors, it's just everything around us which is out of our control has a sensory of just not being pleasant. And so when you go into meditation or you're dealing with your fears, when you are looking in the mirror and you see in front of you no hope, no way out, that's when you need to go inside and stop. Don't look in the smoky mirror. Go inside and look in through the third eye or the spiritual eye and ask to see spirit. Ask to see the beloved. This is how you get through the next 6 months. This is how you push through. You see her body is stretching. It's like a butterfly who's just been released from its cocoon, and she's dancing with joy. You see all that gold, all that beauty, and there's a heart right here at the top of her chest. Can you see it? Can you see that? This is how, when you go on that vision quest, remember this card. Vision that this is you. This is you're stretching to spirit in all its glory is shining around you. Glittering rain diamonds all over you. Just raining diamonds on your soul and your spirit. Because this is what it is that we're going to reach for at the end of all of this stanky stank that is called 2020. Guys, I gotta tell you, you gotta spend that time in nature or inside. If you find it hard to just sit still for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's a practice. It's like if you want to play tennis, you go and you practice. And sometimes you get a coach if you plan to take it to the next level. If you want to cook, you have to practice to be a better cook. So the same with this journey. In order to stay in that flow of what's happening around you and not get caught up with it stuck all over you, you have to see the other side. You have to be able to feel and know this too will pass and not get stuck in the grieving process of what's happening around you. Because if you don't, it's going to take you down with it. And I don't want that to happen to you. We've been on this journey together now, and I want to know that everyone will still be around in 2021, and everyone understood why and how. Maybe not now, because if you're going through it, it's hard to see that things are going to get better sometimes. It's hard to see the fruits of these labor pains. It's like when the mother is birthing the baby, the parents kind of wonder what the baby's gonna look like when the baby comes. And some people, I remember before technology, they didn't even know the birth of the child. They had to wait and see, is it gonna be a boy or a girl? And that is how you have to look at the birth of this new earth. Because if you don't, you are gonna be depressed, stressed, sick. You're going to not be able to make solid decisions without emotion in your life, because that means emotion is actually the center of your life. And so you have to remove the water and the fire and replace it with the beloved, because the beloved will actually soothe your soul. And please take 10 minutes, dip into that podcast or that meditation tape that I made earlier this week. And it actually, with those breathing exercise, it's like giving yourself a shower, a warm bath, but it's a spiritual shower. It's an inner shower. It's moving that energy to warm your soul and your body. And then once you've purified, clean all that carbon dioxide that has been poisoning your spirit, move it out of your body, then you will be able to think clearly before you make drastic changes or drastic decisions that will alter your 2021. The hummingbird. I love hummingbirds, guys. And affinity, it's a number 8. And a number 8 is, again, moving forward, persevering, advancing. But you're not just persevering now. We're actually moving fast. The little hummingbird, that little hummingbird, guys, he flaps his wings. I guess they said something like, I think I read, I might be wrong, 60 miles a minute. You know, it's like a car going fast. His little wings, and he a little teeny thing. His little wings are like just flapping, flapping, flapping. But remember, the hummingbirds, they are great journeyers. Remember the first card, the second card, the journey? Okay, so now we have the support of this beautiful little hummingbird. And so as the hummingbirds, they actually travel far. And they go from North America to Central to South America. And along the way, they got to feed. They have to find nectar. They need to move because of the weather, the temperatures. And as they're embarking on their epic quests, you know, to go where, like an airplane, go to from East Coast to West Coast, that's a 5-6 hour flight. So think about that little bird trying to go, you know, from a 5 or 6 hour quest. So he's here to show us in our journey, because our journey historically right now is that long, if and longer. Because think if you started out walking from one side of, 5,000 miles, how long will it take you to walk for 5,000 miles? With wings, you could get there a little faster. If you know some shortcuts, you can get there faster. But as you're walking, you're going to be greeted along that path, along that journey, by a lot of challenges, because you start out on the flat road, and then you get to another section, you're going to find yourself wishing you had wings, because now you have to go up steep hills. Then after you get up that steep hill, you got to come back down. And a pair of wings would be really, really helpful when you're on the journey. So right now, guys, we are on a mighty journey. And so this hummingbird can teach you. Spend some time with this little hummingbird. Look up learn all you can about hummingbirds, because I think if you really understood the power of the spirit of this hummingbird, he will actually help you start to see through your mind's eye. I think once before we talked about the beak of that hummingbird and how he represents the upper world. Again, the spirit. You know, we are in and being cocooned in the spirit of the beloved, guys. And the hummingbird can take that little peak and just dip it in the middle and the heart of that flower and just grab that little nectar out flawlessly. And so when we are in the hummingbird realm of spirit, that is what spirit is doing with us. And so he's allowing you to see, he's allowing you to taste the sweet nectar. So when you again are feeling defeated, hopeless, sad, disappointed right now, because we got a lot of that going on. And I'm reading on social media, some of the people I know, some of the people I don't know, they're communicating with each other with such pain and tears. I see a lot of emojis with flooded water. I see a lot of emojis of people are communicating. I'm asking questions, and I'm seeing that little emoji with the I don't know. Everybody has their shoulders hunched and their hands out to their side because of all of the unknowns. And you can have a glimpse into your known, into your future, when the beloved, you're spending that time with the beloved. He will give you that little vision, that vision quest. He will show you where and what the plan is of your destiny if you don't know. And if you do know but you forgot, then you need to be reminded, and you can be reminded on that vision quest in meditation and that time with the beloved. Our next card is giveaway. And again, changes. And changes are hard. So especially this many changes. I have never in my entire life been through, none of us have. Nobody living today has been through where these planets are sitting, because the way the planets are lined up right now, that happened over 150 years ago. So I don't know anybody's 150. So there's nobody who's living today have experienced the kind of changes that we as humans are living through at this moment in time. So when these changes are coming, you got to make room. And we've been talking about that since 2019. Purging, give it away, getting rid of stuff so the gifts of the new life that's coming can come in. You have to get rid of attachments. You have to know what it feels like to unconditionally, without any expectation or any ulterior motives or any manipulation, what it's like to give away. And we talked about this card because this card has come up a lot over the last year. It's difficult, guys, for you to set a limit on how much you give. of yourself or how much you give when you're giving from the heart. Because your generosity, if you are giving away what the beloved has gifted you with, you will never run out of the giving. When you're giving of your heart, when you're giving of your time, when you're giving of your generosity, it's always plenty. It's always a refill. And it's like the story in the Bible about the loaves of bread and the fishes. And they said, Jesus said, he goes and they are over on the mountain to listen to his sermon, and one of the disciples say, oh my God, how are we going to feed all these people lunch? And he's like, we have more than enough. You just have to believe. And so as the people came to have food, someone told the story where, as they said, this little kid went fishing and he shows up at the ceremony, and it was lunchtime, and so everybody was like hungry, and some people had and some people didn't have. And so Jesus said, okay, everybody bring what you have. And in generosity, instead of saying I better hold back a little for myself, everyone put in the basket. They were very generous with their giving. They gave everything they had that they had brought to eat. And so therefore, when they put it all together and when they started to portion out, everyone, all 5,000 that was sitting on the side of that mountain, they all ate well and they were full. And so that is what generosity is about, the giveaway. Our last card is the Beauty Way. And I love this card because it has that 1,000-petal lotus. And so, and it also has that dragonfly, which is also a spiritual animal. I know a friend, or I knew a girl, we haven't spoken in a while, life happens, but she used to collect dragonflies, and I made me curious, wonder why she likes dragonflies. And so as a gift of our friendship, I used to make jewelry, and so we were jewelry maker buddies. And so as a gift, I made her a Swarovski crystal dragonfly bracelet. And she was very, it really surprised her. She was very happy. And then she shared with me that from her culture, the color yellow and dragonflies were for good luck. And she thought they were very beautiful animals with their double wings. And so in the spirit of yellow, which is happy, and the luck of the dragonfly, we have Beauty Way. And Beauty Way, the 1,000-petal, is when you sit in meditation, and when you sit in the lotus pose, meaning you sit with your back straight, with the pillow, there are all kinds, or a seating that lifts your buttocks off the floor, and you spread your buttocks wide. And I have a lot of cushion back there, so I really got to spread it when I'm sitting to meditate. You can either cross your legs if it's like the pose that you see on the screen, or you can sit in a chair. Just don't sit back with your back flat to the chair. You want to put a blanket or a pillow between your lower back and the chair so that your back is free, so that your shoulders aren't slouching. And that is the secret to sitting for long periods of time, because most of the time when people are meditating, it's the comfort, it's being comfortable so that you can meditate and keep meditating is why people come out of meditation on top of the noise, on top of the monkey mind, on top of all the other things. But once you sit in meditation properly, you are sitting in the lotus pose. And so you are able to actually, it's like your head is being pulled up by the top of your head and reaching towards the sun. The same way this flower comes from underneath the murky waters at night, and without flaw of dirt or sand of how it spent the night, all its beauty rises towards the sun. And that is what the beauty way is. It's the path that you travel on your daily practice of beauty. And when we're talking about a practice of beauty, that means, again, of love, of compassion, of kindness, of trying to be the light and not the dark. When people do horrible, horrible things, we choose the beauty way. When you sit in meditation, you're choosing the beauty way. You're sitting in a way that reminds you of staying alert so you can receive all the downloads from the beloved, the beauty way. Oh, guys, I love you. I pray for you. I hope you're praying for me. I will be back next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And these cards this time was just perfect and beautiful so that you can make it through all of this murky waters of 2020. I love you. I love you. I love you. Namaste.